Welcome everyone, this is Sarah, and this is Artisan Heirloom Foods, and this is my April garden walkthrough. So, as you can see, the beautiful chive bed there. I like to go outside every morning. Takes me about 30 minutes, and I water the beds that I have seeded. Now in this bed, I have corn and bush beans. I'm finding that the critters are digging up my corn one by one. Every day I find one or two of them, but there's one there. Here's a bean, and I have plenty of corn. This type of corn, this is a gold corn and borletto bean in this bed. There's a few other little things growing in it, like the lamb's lettuce and the mosh, or that's mosh, that is lamb's lettuce, but then some mustard, mizuna that I put in here that decided that didn't seed right away and just seeded later. But here's some beans, and they're starting to pop up through the soil. There's a couple corn there. There'll be a few more beans. There's another corn. There's a bean. Some corn. And it's taken a little while, but this corn's finally popping up. And in this bed here, this was the first bed that I had gotten. Well, this was the second bed. The corn and the bush beans were the first bed that I had finished completely, and but I had planted the corn and the beans in there. But then this bed here that I'm watering was my second completed bed. Now, as you can see, I didn't fill these beds up all the way. The cardboard's still poking up along the side, but over the next few years, they'll get the soil will raise up in there. I planted golden beets, candy cane beets, as well as kohlrabi and spring onions in this bed. I did a companion bed. All my beds will be companion beds, and as you can see, there's two kohlrabi there, along with some golden beets. You can tell the difference between the golden beets and the candy cane beets because the candy cane beets are red, and there's a couple there along with the kohlrabi. There's some more. But I just free broadcasted the seeds in the bed. I'm just, this year I'm just really seeing what works, and so far everything's working well. There's a lot of more seedlings. And this here is my last bed that I've got 4 beds that are completed so far here at the end of April, and this was my last bed that I had completed this month, and it has Swiss chard, a mixture of golden beets and candy cane beets, as well as spring onion. And you might wonder why I'm putting spring onions in these beds. That is to discourage any pests that might want to eat the beets or the Swiss chard. But the spring onions in both of the beds haven't sprouted yet. But as you can see here, there's some candy cane beet as well as some golden beet. I'm not quite sure what the Swiss chard looks like because the seed looks like beet seeds. I mean, they're pretty much identical. This is the wild rose that started growing up along the fence line of my garden. This bed here, I first planted, this was my third bed, and I planted on this side that I'm watering cilantro, and on the opposite side I'd seeded Italian parsley. A few days later, I came in and I broadcasted sweet basil, the very large basil, and here in a second you'll see that I think what's coming up, even though it was broadcasted last, is the basil. So I'm kind of curious on why, even though they were sown a few days later, why they are coming up first. I don't know exactly, but we'll just see what they are. I mean, these could actually be cilantro, but here's some baby sprouts. But they look like the basil, so we'll just see. I like to, again, do companion planting, and so all three of these herbs actually work well together. They don't compete and harm each other, so we're just gonna grow them together and see what happens. I'm sure I'll have some good luck. Here's my rosemary bed. As you can see, all the green that's coming up on the edges and in the pathway is my mint that I had planted back in 2010, 2009. And it's actually, it's becoming a weed. This is my mint bed here, so it's dedicated just to mint. And I'll show you a recipe with that. But in these pots here, on the south side of the garden are lilies. Those are my favorite flower. And I planted 5 in each. And in here we have all 5. And this one is a stargazer, but only one of them has managed to pop up, so we'll see. And I'm real excited about it because I really love lilies. Those are my favorite flowers. And then roses are my favorite bush. And there's another pot that has stargazer. Here's a bed of my asparagus. This is my second bed of asparagus. And I've already harvested 3 times. And here it looks like I'm going to have to harvest one more time here the next day. But they're growing faster than I can eat them, actually. So this is my makeshift little garden containers, greenhouse containers. I had to start all back over again. As you can see, these 5 pots, those were what were remaining of my green tomatoes, and 3 of them died, but 2 of them look like they're going to pull through it. This one's a little scraggly, but the other one is doing much better. But I had to start all back over again because we had an unexpected frost that wasn't forecasted, and it killed everything. So I had to replant everything. And this is straw with little tiny mushrooms that are growing up. That's a good sign when the mushrooms are growing up. And then the green is just straw. It's not grass or anything. That's actual straw that's growing. So, but mushrooms look pretty. And then these are gigantic red bell pepper, as well as, here in a second, here is some lime basil. These are what I had inside, and so I hadn't put them outside yet, like all of the other stuff that was killed off. So these were the remaining of what I had on inside. But here's my garden, and I've got 4 complete beds. And I want to say thank you so much for watching my video and joining me. If you haven't already, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And share, like, comment. I'd appreciate all those things. Again, I want to thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know there's many videos you could watch, and I appreciate you watching mine. Until my next video, I hope everyone takes care, and we'll see you in the next.